decades, Detroit, Michigan zoomed down the fast lane of American progress. The hub of car production, the fourth largest city in the nation. For the past 40 years, local residents have watched helplessly as Detroit sped down a relentless road to ruin.
The abandoned buildings are in pain. The community is in pain. Right now, they are screaming.
Today, America's Motor City has no rush hour. And once vibrant neighborhoods look like they have gone down a disassembly line of destruction. Civic buildings are closed to the public, but open to the elements. Haunts of the homeless, of scavengers, and of death. But when Detroit looks in the rearview mirror, it sees a chrome-plated history that glistened with prosperity and hope.
From the 20s up until the 50s, Detroit was considered the Paris of the Midwest in many respects. It had an enormous shopping district and cultural attractions that were really the envy of the world.
Detroit's dazzling collection of Art Deco skyscrapers epitomized the brash energy of Jazz Age America. It's often said that Detroit's golden age began here. This is the plant where Henry Ford perfected the industrial assembly line that revolutionized the world. The plant that produced the fabled Model T, the car that put the average American in the driver's seat.
This is the plant where Henry Ford first introduced the $5 a day wage. It brought a level of affluence that made Detroit a great place to live and created a very high standard of living for Detroit.
Through the 1950s and 60s, Detroit was firing on all cylinders as the center of America's booming car culture. But in the 1970s, Henry Ford's Highland Park plant came to a screeching halt. Today, a flashing yellow light seems to symbolize its state of limbo. In a different part of town, at a factory that once put America on wheels, these trash-strewn ruins would have astounded the workers who once toiled here. The headquarters of the luxury car maker, Packard. Built here for 50 years, Packard catered to the rich and stylish, America's answer to Rolls-Royce. But thanks to bad business decisions in the 40s and 50s, the company went under.
The Packard plant is North America's largest abandonment. It's Detroit's version of the Roman Coliseum.
These abandoned buildings symbolize the city's great past and what it did for this country in building the United States of America. This was the engine that drove the American dream for a long time. And I think now they symbolize that broken dream.
But before that dream was broken, it poured staggering wealth into Detroit's opulent theaters and churches, towering skyscrapers, and impressive civic monuments. Detroit's Michigan Central train station represents everything that was once great about the Motor City and everything that has gone tragically wrong.
It's Detroit's most iconic abandonment.
Today, the only thing shiny and new is the barbed wire. And Michigan Central is no longer a stop for anyone but migrating Canadian geese. Detroit once boasted so many houses of worship. It was known as the City of Churches. But where worshipers once looked for signs of grace, for sale signs now decorate crumbling facades. The city suffered private tragedies as well. And none were crueler than those of residential homeowners who mortgaged their life savings to the city's future and saw their dreams foreclosed. Today, Detroit has lost so many people, there is talk of turning entire neighborhoods back into farmland. Until that day, Detroit stands as a stark lesson on what happens when a high-octane industrial city hits the end.